It's the Luke and Pete Show for a Monday. I'm Pete Donaldson, joined by Mr. Lukey Moore.
Hello. How you doing?
Yeah,
how's it going, mate?
I'm all right.
What's new?
The Luke and Pete Show universe is a beautiful, colourful place. It's like when Roger Rabbit. Is it Roger Rabbit where they go into the cartoon world? Yes, he's in the normal world, isn't he? And then he's in the real world, and then he hot-foots it into...
I wonder what that looks like now, because at the time it felt extraordinary to watch.
Magical.
Didn't it?
I wanted to put a little talking shoe in some acid.
I wanted to spend more time with Jessica Rabbit. As we all did.
Who's the baddie out of it? It was not Robert Zemeckis.
It's Bob Hoskins, isn't it?
No, he's the goodie.
Oh, is he? Okay, he's the detective.
He's the
gumshoe detective.
He's the gumshoe detective.
I'll have a look.
Friends. It was the fella who was in Back to the Future. Robert. It's not Rob, is it?
Oh, Christopher Lloyd.
Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah.
He did a video game that was pretty much the similar plot called Toonstruck, where he was a human in a cartoon world. And I remember taking days to try and get it to work on my PC. The animations are just too rich. Just too rich.
Well, it's a really interesting game where the animations are really rich and way ahead of their time. Is it Dragon's Lair or something? Dragon something?
Yeah.
It features in Stranger Things.
Right.
And it looks an amazing game. And I watched a playthrough on YouTube.
Horrible to play.
Yeah. I felt it must be terrible to play.
Yeah.
Because it looks amazing, but there doesn't seem to be any real gameplay around.
It was basically for Laserdiscs. It was an arcade Laserdisc sort of thing that allowed you to sort of, because Laserdisc you could stream a lot of video very quickly.
But it was Disney animated, was it not?
It was Don Bluth, I think, who was a Disney animator, but I think he might be Hanna-Barbera, maybe, I don't know. But
what's it called, the game again?
The game's called Dragon's Lair.
Dragon's Lair, that's it.
There was also another one that I can't remember the bloody name of, but it was Dragon's Lair 1 and 2.
So apparently Don Bluth, he's the ex-Disney guy.
Excellent animator, Don Bluth. Is he still with us? Is he still kicking a ball? Let's
have a look. He is at the ripe old age of 88.
Lovely.
Oh, he's from El Paso in Texas.
Beautiful.
Who else is from El Paso that you can think of? I can think of one very, very a very, very kind of impactful bunch of people on my life, and that is the post-hardcore band At the Drive-In.
Oh, they're from El Paso, right?
Yeah. I've got an EP called Hell Paso.
Right. I've been to El Paso. It's nice.
Have you?
Really nice people.
Was it good there?
Really good.
Border town, isn't it?
Yeah.
Border town, baby.
Uncle Ben.
Ben.
Don't they do an El Paso?
That's old El Paso, which is a different...
I'm thinking Uncle Ben is old El Paso. Is there not a figurehead for old El Paso?
No, I think it's just a Mexican landscape, isn't it?
Oh, right, okay. Oh, well, never mind.
Uncle Ben. What do you mean?
He's probably from like Louisiana or something, isn't he?
Uncle Ben is probably I'm freestyling here, but probably some kind of racist stereotype these days.
Oh yeah, but he still exists. I don't know. I think it's like Aunt Jemima. Is she
again
still
same thing?
Is she problematic?
Same
I think
thing.
Aunt Jemima's accepted as being problematic, but Uncle Ben isn't.
Yeah,
but I don't think Uncle Ben's a big brand in America where it would connect longer.
Well, it's changed. I'm just looking at. It's changed its name to Ben's Originals. Ben's Original. Now, the reason that Uncle Ben may be seen as being racist, just to give you a very kind of amateurish and brief history lesson, is because there were certain enslaved people, African Americans, in the South in that period that did have some kind of authority and people were deferential to them. They'd be older people in the plantation or whatever, but it was never permitted for the younger white folk children to call them anything other than slaves, right? So they settled on the word uncle, right? Because it was a kind of fig leaf, because they would never be able to call them Mister, right? Because it would be too authoritative, and they wouldn't be treated as because it was a white supremacist world. So uncle was not the fig leaf they used to use. That following through to being a product is obviously hugely problematic. The same with Aunt Jemima. Right. I haven't looked that up. That's like an educated guess, but it's now called Ben's Originals, probably for that reason.
Is that why?
It's nothing to do with old El Paso.
Is that why Uncle Tom got rebranded to Mr. Tom? Those peanut bars.
Maybe. I
don't think it was.
It probably wasn't. No. Old El Paso, Peter, is a Mexican meal kit.
Right. Yes, it is. Yeah.
Which when
very basic.
Yeah. Well, when
very basic stuff.
When
great meals though.
When the wife I have access to first saw old El Paso products, she was pretty mortified. Yeah. Because I think I suppose in one way though it's no different to say getting. I mean, I would never make a curry out of a jar because I would just get a takeaway, which would be better, or I'd try and make it from scratch because I'm pompous about it. Right. And I'd probably fail at it.
Just a lot of like collecting cardamom pods and stuff.
But I think a lot of Americans think of Mexican food as their kind of Indian food.
Yeah, it massively is. So like, and conversely,
so they would want to have shit stuff.
And conversely, I think the acceptance and of quite racist tropes, for example, we talked about the 1990s in the last show, but in films and stuff, Short Circuit, and that would never be a thing.
It's the guy who's in Succession now.
Yeah, and the guy who did the David Beckham documentary, that fella.
Yeah.
So he browned up for that, and he and you would never get that in Britain because of the massive like Indian and Pakistani kind of diaspora, isn't it? It's like
I suppose so. Yeah, but I think you say that,
but we could get away with a sombrero.
But the two blokes from Little Britain did it.
Yeah, I mean they did a lot of stuff, didn't they?
Well, they did.
They did a lot of stuff.
They browned up and.
Not that long ago.
In like 2015 or something. I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. I find it fascinating. I've got no particular beef with either of those people. I don't know them. I think a lot of Matt Lucas's stuff is good. Like his early stuff is amazing. It's really funny. But they get away with a lot, basically from the virtue of the fact being quite middle class Oxbridge types.
Are they though? Are they those things? I don't think they're Oxbridge. Are they?
I think they probably are.
Right.
That's what I assume.
I think they get away with a lot because one's very camp and one's gay. I do think there is a convenience to being a minority that you can get away with some things that other people.
But David Walliams is not a minority at all, is he?
No.
Okay.
It's a bit of a creepy character.
Yeah. So why? Okay. Well, let me put it another way. Then why do they get away with so much? Why have they not been kind of?
Because they did a lot of because Little Britain wasn't quite as strong as something like Come Fly With Me, and I think it was such a runaway success. I once wrote quiz questions for the Little Britain DVD.
Did you? What a!
I had to find a load of trivia about notable gay men. I seem to recall.
What did that even entail?
It was it was a CD-ROM. It was a DVD-ROM.
How did you get that job?
It was my ex's brother worked on it.
And were you a fan of the program?
No, I wasn't a fan of doing the job, to be honest. But the money was pretty good.
The reason I think that Little Britain is maybe perhaps not just as bad, but is bad, is because Little Britain is a real like punch down fest.
Yeah,
it's a real like kind of, this is what's funny about fat people. This is what's funny about poor people.
Yeah,
this is what. Do you know what I mean? And we're very like blithely accepting of that as Brits, aren't we? And I find the whole cancel culture thing around that very curious in a way, because cancel culture, which is a terrible phrase, but I can't think of what else to say to describe it, is by its nature very inconsistent. Like it doesn't seem to have any rules about who actually gets cancelled and who doesn't. So the example would be like if you see someone like Jeremy Clarkson, just uncancelable. Like he doesn't seem, he doesn't care. He just doesn't care. He doesn't play the game, right?
But it's like too big to fail, isn't it? Little Britain, too big to fail. Too important to the BBC to fail.
But they just quietly moved off iPlayer and don't speak about it anymore.
Yeah, because it's obscene, a lot of it.
But
Little Britain less so. But Come Fly With Me was pretty.
In Come Fly With Me, you've got browning up.
Yeah,
you've blacking up. You've got at one point
Japanese characters.
Yeah. And if that kind of thing was unveiled to someone else or about someone else 30 years hence, like they could easily be cancelled for that.
If you saw that, I think if you saw that as like, when you see like sort of Spanish stars in their eyes and everyone's blacking up, everyone's blinding up.
I think that was the Greek one, the Stevie Wonder one.
Stevie Wonder one. And you do go, that's racist Europeans. Like, we're just as bad. We're just as bad.
In our own way, I guess.
In our own delicious way.
I remember when there was some Spanish F1 fans who blacked up when Lewis Hamilton came to the Spanish Grand Prix. And they seemed to be like absolutely baffled as to why it was offensive. They were like, "Look, we love Lewis Hamilton.
Yeah,
we're doing it because we really want to support him and stuff." They were quite taken aback that it was that offensive.
Yeah,
so
it's that reluctance to take a step back and sort of because you sort of cherry pick why you've done something, and why that person shouldn't be offended.
It's amazing.
Why it shouldn't be a problem, because in microcosm, it's you are trying to support them, but the weight of history,
it's misguided.
It's misguided. You have to sort of think about the weight. You have to be aware of these things.
Are you surprised
slightly sensitive?
You've not been cancelled?
I've never blacked up. So.
No, I don't mean just for that. I mean, but what I'm saying is you've always been quite right on,
right?
Haven't you? So you probably haven't done anything that bad.
I think I have. I will have done some stuff, I reckon, that is. I can't think of anything now, but
they're quite wistful there.
They're quite wistful there. Yeah.
I'm not suggesting you cancel yourself.
I can't. I had one. I can't remember what it was, but it was like, it wasn't like, it was when I was 17, I think I was at like a car boot or something, and they had like
17 at a car boot. Where's 17. This going to go?
Well, I was fucking from Hartlepool, like, and we didn't really talk about a lot of this stuff.
You weren't doing any fucking in Hartlepool.
Wasn't doing any fucking in Hartlepool.
No. Did you lose your virginity in Hartlepool?
Yes.
Was Hartlepool the destination of you ejaculating for the first time over Hero Quest?
Yes, it was. Okay. That was spectacularly. I still look back with great fondness. But I remember I had when I was a child, I had a gollywog.
Yeah.
So it was just part of every kid that I knew sort of had one.
But you're a child, that's not your
as a child. Yeah, but I mean, but when I was 17, I bought. There was just this. It was like a collection of like.
So this would have been 1998-ish.
Yeah, funky shirts.
Yeah.
And one of them was like had a gollywog on it, and I was like, that's a bit weird because I'm fairly certain like you don't sort of see the gollywog anymore. And I was like, and I bought it for like a retro reason. And then
knocking about town with it, were you?
No, I never wore it. Good God, can you imagine?
Why did you buy it then?
I don't know. Well, I presume I had some intention to buy it, to wear it, but like, yeah, I'm like mad.
Yeah,
absolutely. But when you look back at that, you sort of go, that's fucking mad. I mean, it was the 90s.
Do you know what I think about? Do you know what I think about is I've always been very right on. My family upbringing was very right on, so I'm not going to fall foul of that.
But race blindness is a thing.
Oh, of course, I'm totally aware that I would have been unintentionally, unacceptable at different occasions growing up. Of course. I mean, that goes without saying. We should all be honest about that, and unintentionally, and all the rest of it. But the one thing I do think when I look back at the 90s, and when I first started going to pubs and stuff, I honestly don't remember, probably because I was ignorant of it, and I just don't have any direct experience of it, and I'm not excusing the stuff that obviously did happen. But I don't have an overpowering memory of racism in my friendship group and stuff like that. But what I do definitely have memory of is the way that women were treated in pubs in like the 90s was like extraordinarily bad. Right. It was really bad. Like
I didn't hang out with any women, so
I didn't either. But I just mean when I think back of how women were treated, like gawped at, leered at, ass grabbing, all that kind of stuff used to go on all the time in the 90s, and the way it's completely unthinkable now.
So I don't remember any of that, to be honest. Like,
yeah, well, maybe it's different.
Maybe we're just absolutely sexless. Yeah, probably the power station pumping out all that radiation. Just absolutely sexless. I thought
the power station was Middlesbrough, wasn't it?
Yeah, it still drifts over.
The Ridley Scott Blade Runner power station.
Yeah, the power station.
Yeah. He's a character now, Ridley Scott, isn't he?
You've been watching one of his shows recently.
I don't think he's involved in that much, is he?
He's one of the few kind of auteur directors who like get through a lot of kind of films over the years. Like which is what bloody hard.
Alien Earth is directed by Noah Hawley, though, who did Fargo.
Right, okay.
Ridley Scott's definitely not directing it. I mean, he's probably got ownership over some of the IP and stuff, hasn't he? But I don't think he's involved that much. Right. And a lot of the IP is H.R. Geiger, isn't it?
Well, he's certainly the imagery, the Swiss.
It's
Swiss German.
It's Swiss, yeah. It's absolutely iconic. Like, what's massive about that alien? So, what Pete's referring to is Alien Earth, right? And I talked about it a couple of weeks ago, and I'm still really enjoying it. But what's fascinating about it is, as a kind of universe, as a cinematic universe, there's so much in it that you have to suspend your disbelief on. Like the plot holes and stuff are quite obvious. Right. I think the 3 or 4 of the most recent Alien products, the plot holes are gaping. Yeah. But the moment you see that alien, you don't fucking care. It's just so iconic. Yeah.
Wasn't it a very tall? Was he a basketball player or something?
Who? H.R. Geiger?
No. He had a really long pen. Right.
Who?
The fella who played the alien.
Are you thinking about Predator?
Am I thinking about Predator?
You always do this.
The French guy. Was that Predator? No, I don't think.
I don't honestly know how they modelled the alien.
I think the alien was a very thin French. I want to say Eritrean fella. I think.
Right.
Who was very tall and thin. He had a very unique physicality.
Manute Bol.
What?
Was it Manute Bol?
Who's Manute Bol?
He was the tallest ever NBA player.
No, it wasn't him.
No.
But yeah, it was the H.R. Geiger art. A big fan of that when I was a kid. There's a video game called Darkseed that came out that H.R. They basically spent all of the budget on. It was like a digitized sort of full motion video sort of game, a bit like Monkey Island, but set in the horrific world of Hitchhike Giga. And
is it Giga or Geiger?
I don't know. I think it's Giga. I think it might be Giga.
Okay.
I think it might be. But he would. They basically spent all the money on the art. Just basically feathering Giga's nest for all this great art they use and stuff. And they just ran out of money. And so they got like the main sort of programmer to be like the main like the main actor in the video game. So it's just this fella who looks like the most like 70s dad with a big moustache.
Yeah.
And he just sort of like just can't act. And he's just walking around going, boo. Like, and
what's the premise of the game?
Man wakes up, he's got an headache, takes a paracetamol, and he's all right for a while. When he sleeps, he realizes that he is being infected in the brain. His front of his head's getting opened up in the night, and they're spurting Darkseed inside his brain, and making his head hurt. And it's just a sort of descent into madness. He jumps through a mirror to the dark world. And Darkseed's just a very scary, horrible game. I really should revisit one time.
It sounds horrific.
It's horrific, and the artwork is horrific. So it's the mixture of like just a conventional kind of like, you know, American house, and then you jump through a mirror and it's just fucking horrible. Sort of
a bit like Stranger Things.
Yeah,
bit of a Stranger Things vibe. Really.
It was lovely, but the man was hilariously. He just looked like an 80s kind of synth player.
Yeah, the
in a donkey jacket.
Coming back to it again, the 80s is just dark. It's just a dark era.
Mind it.
Absolutely dark. Look, let's have a break, Peter. Right. When we come back, we've got an email and we've got some other stuff to talk about as well. So yeah, stick around.
Welcome back to the Luke and Pete show with confirmed historical racist Pete Donaldson and Lukey Moore.
Yeah. I thought I was going to get a much better lead up.
Well, I think in comparison, you got a great one.
No, I've probably done some terrible things, Pete. Don't worry about it.
Yeah. I do worry about it because it's it's bad, isn't it?
Yeah.
But
I mean, we've had a good run to an extent. Anyway, email here from Patrick that is from a little while back, but I wanted to read it. I didn't want it to go without being commented on, and it's about the stuff we were talking about before about the Century Club, the Power Hour. People who listen regularly will remember that stuff,
right?
But it'll come back to you as soon as I read it. He says, "Gents, congrats to Pete on the new addition to his family. I'm of a similar age to both of you, and it dismays me that Pete has become a child man before I did."
Childman.
Yeah, you are a childman. You're soon to be a lungman as well.
Yeah.
Do you want to talk about that? Not really?
I don't know. By the time this show comes out, I may have had the prognosis for my lungs.
So you're seeing a specific lung specialist?
A lungman. A lungman.
A lungfish.
A lungfish. I basically gave him the data blast of what's been going on in Donnie's life since April.
Yeah.
And he basically did what you do. Stop. Let's start where I guess.
Yeah, you understand. Yeah.
Let's take this methodically and medically. And he sent me for a CT scan. I've had a lung. You blow into a big robot cock like a few times.
Can't believe they call it that. That was a real mistake for them to call it that, wasn't it?
And I've had blood tests as well in the worst hospital. It's Orsett. The hospital in Orsett that does phlebotomy is disgusting.
Just blood everywhere.
Well, they may as well have. It might have improved the decor. Might make it a bit more colourful.
Yeah.
The nurse who was taking my blood, a spanner fell out my top pocket. a big spanner for some reason. It clanked on the floor, and I was just getting my form ready, and she picked up with her glove. She picked up the spanner off the floor, and I'm like, "That's a dirty spanner."
Yeah.
And then she's putting her hands all over my veins.
Yeah.
With the same gloves.
It's your spanner though.
It was my spanner, but it went on the floor.
Yeah.
And it was her gloves.
Yeah. Why did you take a spanner to the hospital?
I don't know. I thought they might need it.
Have you ever been in the hospital?
It's in the NHS.
Where they hit the button and the security turn up?
No. Why? What did you do?
Well, no, I'm just saying in King's College Hospital,
right.
I went there once to have a scan on my knee. And I shouldn't be joking about it really, because what happens is there are people who have mental health issues who clearly have nowhere else to go.
Yeah.
So sometimes they just end up in A&E sitting there.
Yeah.
And there was one guy in there who was, having an issue. I think he was probably drunk, but he was having an issue. And the nurses and the duty care staff or whatever.
Couldn't deal.
Well, they're amazing. They're amazingly patient and stuff. And they obviously see it all the time.
Yeah.
And I think it just comes a threshold. And one of them just called security. I can't remember if they pressed a button or whatever. And like from nowhere, these three massive lads just turned up.
The hospital massive lads.
Yeah.
I'd love to hang out in the room with the massive lads.
Behind the scenes.
Yeah.
But sadly, when I was I had to go back to the child A&E. Nothing serious with my son a while back. And
he inherited the look more knee.
He hasn't. Well, who knows? Who knows?
We'll
Babies aren't born with kneecaps, are they?
That's true.
It's the one bone I think they're not born with. But no, I don't think so. But I actually noticed in the normal A&E, the adult A&E, there was security there the whole time then. So it must have got worse.
Right. Yeah.
Anyway, good luck to you and specifically your lungs.
Yes.
We are praying for a positive result on that front. Patrick picks up the story again. I mentioned lungfish earlier. Lungfish are fascinating because do you know much about the lungfish?
I don't actually. Lungfish.
It's like a proper throwback in the evolutionary cycle.
Oh.
And I think they're called lungfish because they are one of the few fish species, perhaps even the only fish species that can actually breathe air as well.
Right. Okay.
So I think when the tide goes out, they can have a little wriggle around and they're all right.
So they just flop around on the floor? I
think so. Yeah.
They can survive out of water for 4 years.
Mad. Mad, isn't it?
Oh my God. During this process, the lungfish burrows into mud and forms a protective mucus cocoon, leaving a small opening to breathe air with its lungs.
That sounds fucking great, doesn't it?
I'd love to go into a reduced metabolic rate.
Yeah. Imagine
just for a bit.
Imagine. Describe that cocoon again.
It's just, so they burrow into mud.
What's it called?
They form a protective mucus cocoon.
Imagine if I just said to you, I'm not going to come in this week.
Bag.
I'm doing my own protective mucus cocoon for a week.
Mucus cocoon sounds like a band.
It does.
Cool band.
Yeah, not cool.
Yeah.
Anyway, Patrick says, I've spent the past few weeks binging about 6 months of Luke and Pete in an attempt to catch up on the old episodes, and I've been holding off emailing till I know that another email hasn't already covered this ground, but here's what I've got to add. Sal, now regarding the McNugget Power Hour, just as a reminder, a couple of friends of the Luke and Pete show got in touch for us to say they were eating and was it as many McNuggets as you can eat in an hour?
That's right.
Like that,
yes, yeah. Save them off.
He says, it sounds terrible. I'm appalled at this, but I do have a lot of experience with the beer versions of the Power Hour and the Century Club, as do I actually. We used to do the Centurion all the time.
Yeah.
Back in the day. One of the main issues is keeping time, of course. To make that much easier, someone in my fraternity back in college had the clever idea of making a cassette tape with 61-minute cuts of popular songs on it. It made things much easier knowing that all you need to do was take a shot of beer every time the song changed instead of watching a clock, which I guess could be quite boring, or making a pledge to do it. That's a really good idea.
Yeah.
So it's got like
bit of entertainment.
Almost like a kind of...
There's some karaoke in there as well.
ADHD kind of DJ.
Like just playing out some music for you every time you drink.
I can remember we used to go back to mates' houses after the pub, and obviously being the music nerds that we are, put records on and stuff. And we had to end, there was about 6 or 7 of us used to do it, and we actually end up putting a rule in saying, once a song's been agreed to be on, it's got to stay on.
You can't stop it. Right,
you can't fucking stop it.
You get excited because you want to put another song on.
Yeah.
Right.
Was
it in rotations?
Yeah.
You take turns? Right,
yeah.
okay.
Or sometimes someone would be like, oh, I'm DJing tonight. You'd be like, fine.
Right.
I remember once, so I think I might have told you this, but it's always worth a reminder, and I'll get onto the rest of Patrick's email in a minute because it's about Peru. Is that my friend, he doesn't anymore, but he used to live above one of the original acid casualties of the 60s. Right. And he's the guy who wrote the book, literally, on tree panning your own head. Oh, right, yeah, okay. Yeah, nice. Right. And a lot of the acid generation did it. Release the... Yeah, because apparently your acid high could go on for like weeks. For some reason. So does blood help? Is it the adrenaline? I don't know, but the book he wrote is literally called something like Why I Drilled a Hole in My Own Head to Achieve a Permanent High. Right. And he's this old like Oxford professor academic type guy. And he lived in the basement. Yeah. And so as a result, he was like, I mean, he's mad, quite mad, but he was like chill. So if we went back to my mate's house who lived above him, he'd party all night and he never complain. He probably thought he was in his own head. He's probably into it. Yeah. He's probably up for it. Probably downstairs getting the old corkscrew out. Yeah, man. Maybe he was. But I remember once we went on a massive one listening to the Coral, early Coral stuff. Right. And were they better then? Right, I'll tear up. Oh, the first Coral album's amazing. Right. It's very much diminishing returns after that. But the first one's brilliant. We just shouting and screaming every single word. And that stayed on for the whole album. But that was rare. Anyway, Patrick says... And Patrick talks about the altitude in Peru. He says, the Wi-Fi I have access to and traveled to Machu Picchu with this past November, I can tell you the altitude is absolutely no joke. The journey to Machu Picchu starts in a city called Cusco that is situated at approximately 11,200 feet or 3,400 meters if you're using commie measurements above sea level. Now, I've been in the Rocky Mountains in Colorado to ski where the base of the mountain is 8,000 feet, and that was a walk in the park compared to 11,200. I would see locals in Cusco jogging to get somewhere, and I could only wonder if I was just an absolute joke to them.
See you, Lungman.
So apparently you walk down to Machu Picchu from Cusco.
Good God.
Machu Picchu itself is at 7,500 feet.
And all that shopping as well.
I know. So, who knows? They built a Costco at Machu Picchu. There was a guy I heard on the radio yesterday who has just broken the world record for the highest altitude marathon.
Right.
And he did it for charity, of course. He did it in Bolivia.
Right.
Around some volcano in Bolivia. And he had to train for like months and months in like a simulated altitude chamber to do it.
A hyperbaric chamber.
And he said when he first went, would it be hyperbaric?
I don't know.
That's for
it's just a
the
word
bends,
that always. Yeah. But what's that doing?
And stuff. Maybe it's the same thing.
Yeah, because it's pressurized, I suppose.
Yeah, maybe it's the same thing. I don't know. But he was saying that like when he first got to this place in Bolivia, he was like, "Oh my fucking God!" Like, and they played a video of him because he video diaried it. They played a video of him when he first got there, doing a piece to camera, and he's literally like out of breath doing the piece to camera.
Isn't it weird that like how long does it take for your sort of lungs to acclimatise?
I know that when the footballers had to go and play World Cup qualifiers in Bolivia, they got time. Well, because what used to happen was they used to go there 2 weeks before, but the schedule doesn't allow for that now. So what they've started doing when they play, because FIFA have flip-flopped, surprisingly, on whether it's legal to play up in La Paz or wherever it is in Bolivia. And the times when it has been legitimate, according to their rules, what was happening was these teams were basically literally flying up there last minute. Literally flying up, kick off, game, back down again.
Does that work? Would that not be a massive culture shock? Or maybe it just takes some time for your lungs to go, I ain't got enough going on here.
I mean, I would suggest that looking at the World Cup qualifying record of Bolivia at home would probably say that
a lot of the footballers probably don't even play in their league around La Paz anyway. So
they seem to win a lot of games at home and are broadly terrible on the road. I'm looking at it now in the World Cup qualifying. They've scored 2 goals away from home in the whole qualifying thing, which goes on for years.
Yeah, you think it should be really good because surely when they come down, they've got loads of oxygen.
Yeah, but maybe they haven't got the skills, brother.
Good point.
Hey, thanks for the email, though. Much appreciated.
Good work.
Is there anything else you want to do before we go, Peter?
Let's get out of here.
All right.
I want to tell everyone about the email address, hello@lukepeatshow.com. That's how you get in touch with this show. We'll be back on Thursday for batteries and stuff, so look after yourselves and look after each other.
Yeah, I think we should look into doing like Patreon specials where we do stuff that comes up on the show, like the McNugget Power Hour.
Right.
I'd smash it at that.
I don't know. I think I'd probably do you on the old. If it's fish fingers, I'd probably win.
Fish fingers would be a really good one. I mean, my brother-in-law did the Power Hour Nuggets thing. Said that I think stimulated the original discussion. Just said the worst thing about it wasn't actually the food; it was the fact that you stank of nuggets for days afterwards. I can get the stink off you.
Skin on your skin.
You can never get clean.
Oh God.
Yeah. Anyway, on that delicate note, we'll see you on Thursday.
All right, darling.
Bye.
Ta-ta.